Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Mufasa Mujadid Al Hamad. And I'd like to first say praise and glory belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created all things and who gave them direction and motion to be able to know the course and direction in which they're going. And praise and glory belongs to Allah, who's the all-seeing and the all-knowing and the all-hearing, and who is the ever-giving supporter of all. No summer can seize him, nor sleep. To him belongs the most beautiful of names, Allahu Akbar, which means Allah is greater than any description that anyone could describe. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the last of the final messengers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to first start off. I apologize for being a little bit later than what I said, but I did say inshallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not allow for me to really, or it did not pan out how I planned it. The black liberation according to the Quran and Sunnah, part 2. But this is it. So I would like to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Kaif halak to all your families, and inshallah everyone is doing good out there. And if not, just know that when you put your yaqeen, certainty in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you always get barakah, blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for whatever you're going through. Okay, so this is Black Liberation according to the Quran and Sunnah, part 2. And what I'm going to be talking about here today is basically give you a rough draft of the different beliefs in the white supremacist organizations, because it's a doctrine that was propounded in the 18th century and taught, and it went underground, and it has since grown. It's been growing. We've never checked it. You know, we just got out of slavery, migrated, and try to get on along with our lives, and while they festered and while they grew. And so this is a time and age, you know, it's a day and age where it's a new day for a new breed and a new generation, where we have to actually confront these enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our enemies. Okay? And for us to sit here and do nothing at all about it. And what I mean by nothing, I mean by going to jihad against them. Okay? By not going to jihad against them on behalf of our people is wrong. Is beyond wrong. We're shirking our duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the different briefly the beliefs, and then I'm going to expound on one of them, which is the main dominant one. And then but before that, I'm going to quote some ayateen inshallah, and excuse me, go on to the subject of the issues that are surrounding this main issue. Okay, because it's a very, 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 very big issue, and we need to deal with it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says inside the Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Wa min ayatihi khalaqu al-samawati wal-ard wa ikhtilafu al-sinatikum wa alwanikum. What that translated as is, and among his signs in the creation of the heavens and the earth is your languages, and well, your diversity and your languages and your colors. For those who understand, or those who have insight. Alwanikum. Okay, the colors. What is it? It is indeed a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it is one of the signs of Allah are colors, whether it be white, whether it be black, whether it be whatever it may be. They in themselves have certain type of proprieties. This is what makes them into different colors, and those colors do different things, you see. So we have to look at us as black people and find out why are we black, why are we brown, what makes us that. It's called melanin. And what does melanin do? Melanin brings in solar radiation, brings in the energy from the sun, and converts that solar energy or solar radiation, as some call it, into energy and electricity in your body. Okay, and when it does that, it's actually a nutrient for you. Whereas those who, let's say, non-melanated or white, do not have this. As a matter of fact, they get melanoma, they get cancer. Okay, so they can't stay too long into the sun like that without having a hurt put on them. So this is one sign. Now, of course, we know all signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created leads back to His majesty and His grandeur and His mercy and His love and His authority and His power and so on and so forth. That is the first thing it always, in all of His signs, it speaks of, right? But here, I was emphasizing on the melanin aspect because a lot of us like to say, well, we're all the same. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us different, though. This is what we fail to realize, and it's all put in a perfect mizan, balance. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decide how it should go. So, I just want to quote that ayat real quick, and a part of that ayat that was relevant to our discussion. Okay. So now, with saying that, like I said in the part one, people want to take our melanin and make, melanin pills. They want to, kill us and take body parts and organs and use them in laboratory experiments so they can reduplicate those organs and that melanin so that they can survive what they call us getting closer to the star of Sirius. And they say that there's about to be a triple amount of radiation. So indeed, it's a serious concern for those who do not have melanin. What I want to do today, I want to bring to you real quick that these groups, these white supremacist groups like the KKK, neo-Nazis, a belief that they have, some of them have Christian identity, others follow the Wiccan beliefs that they don't believe in none of that, and we'll get into that. And many of them are in the government, okay, and different factioners are in the government, and they have different methods how they plan to deal with us, okay. So this is indeed a great issue that must be dealt with and must be looked at. But I want you to see this real quick. Since they have this war on terrorism against Muslims, I want you to see really what the real ratio is for who is the most dangerous. It's actually these right-wing or these white power groups and organizations that have been around since the time of slavery. Can you imagine how much military training they have? Can you imagine how many weapons they have? And you don't take them serious? Subhanallah. Okay. So, right here, I want to show you It says non-Muslims carried out more than 90% of all terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. Okay? I don't know if you can see that. It's a graph. You see that graph right there? I don't know. This is extreme left-wing groups, 24% of violence. Okay? I want you to see that. You see that? Islamic extremists are down here. Okay? It's down there. Okay? Look at these. See? So what it says is extreme left-wing groups, 24% of the violence in this country or attacks in this country. 24%. Communists, 5%. Islamic extremists, 6%. Jewish extremists, 7%. Others, 16%. Latinos, 42%. And so it says right here, and this is called what non-Muslims carried out more than 90% of all terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. All right. So it says an FBI report shows that only a small percentage of terror attacks carried out on U.S. soil between 1980 and 2005 were perpetrated by Muslims. Princeton University's Loon Watch compiled the following chart from the FBI's data. As explained below, this chart is oversimplified and somewhat. Okay, according to this data, there were more Jewish acts of terrorism within the United States than Islamic. These radical Jews committed acts of terrorism in the name of their religion. These were not terrorists who happened to be Jews. Rather, they were extremist Jews who committed acts of terrorism based on their religious passions, just like Al-Qaeda and company. Okay, so the chart is misleading a little bit because it throws extreme left wings into the and communists into it, but it never mentions extreme right wing groups, which would be your racist groups. Okay. It says based on our review of approximately 2,400 terrorist attacks in U.S. soil contained within the starter database, we determined that approximately 60%. This is jumbled up. Okay. Excuse me. The START Global Terrorism Database spans from 1970 through 2012 and will be updated from year to year. As of this writing, it includes 104,000 terrorist attacks, as much as most comprehensive open source database open to the public. We counted up the number of terrorist attacks carried out by Muslims. We excluded the attacks by groups which are obviously non-Muslims, such as Ku Klux Klan, Medellin Drug Cartel, Irish Republic Army, Anti-Castro Group, Mormon extremists, Vietnamese Organization to Exterminate Communists, Restore Nation, Jewish Defense League, May 19 Communists, Fourth Reich skinheads. So basically what this is saying, what this is stating, and you can look that up, get the more information. I just want to go through this real quick. But it's called non-Muslims carried out more than 90% of all terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. Okay, look that up, get the more full detailed info. Another one. U.S. right-wing extremists more deadly than jihadists. Deadly shootings. Let's look at some of these. Deadly shootings in Kansas suburb. Fraser Glenn Cross, a 73-year-old man, Missouri man with the history of spouting anti-Semitic rhetoric, is seen in a police car Sunday, April 13. He is suspect fatally shooting 3 people, a boy and his grandfather, outside a Jewish community center in Park, Kansas, a woman at a nearby assisted living facility. Okay, story highlights Peter Borgen, David Sturman, man killed 3 at Jewish Center, Suspect shouted, "Hail Hitler." Hail Hitler. Not Allahu Akbar. And this is called "In-U.S. Right-Wing Extremists More Deadly Than Jihadists." Okay. Similar attack to one Frazier Gun Cross is accused of in Kansas occurred in August 2012 when Wade Michael Page killed 6 people in a shooting at a Sikh temple in Wisconsin. Okay. In 2009, Scott Roeder murdered Dr. George Tiller, who ran an abortion clinic in Wichita, Kansas. In 2010, Roeder was convicted first-degree murder. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, Roeder not only had ties to extreme anti-abortion movement, but he also been pulled over driving with fake license plate bearing the markings of sovereign citizens, a movement of individuals who deny that the government has authority over them. And a lot of them guys is into all the KKK and or skinheads and stuff like that. So here's a little picture shot for you guys. Yeah. Okay. Majority of these cases, they're all white supremacists. And they've done more on blacks than anybody else. Not to mention that I would like to bring up, here's some more. Okay. Some more. Okay. And that's the Iran's hypocrisy in condemning U.S. racism. Michael Rubin says it's farce that Iranian Supreme Leader Khomeini posted tweets criticizing U.S. police. Okay. This is called "Opinion in U.S. Right-Wing Extremists More Deadly Than Jihadists." Basically saying he issued a threat. He didn't come over and shoot nobody or have nobody shot. Okay. So, I just wanted to go through that real quick because that's not my main topic. But go look that up. Indeed, go look that up. Now, you ready? Excuse me for a second. Hope you bear with me. All right. Let's get to this. So, we have groups called a belief called Christian identity. Then you have one type of group that believes, and I'm talking white supremacists, who believes in Thor, and they believe in scientific racism, which is a whole bunch of hypothetical, anthropological things that that they like to throw in to prove that they are superior by race. Excuse me there. You see that right there? That's the block the door. So people know, hey, I'm busy in here. So here's the several views among the white supremacist groups, okay? And it's spread abroad, and this is why that boy killed them people in the church, because this belief has been around for a long time. And I'm gonna run off the several beliefs, then I'll focus on the one which is the dominant one so far, and which was really established this country's racist, religious comprehension and concept, and they keep it to themselves. They keep it to themselves for the main part. Okay, among those who have accepted the presence of black people in the Bible, 7 different views as the original blacks have been given by white supremacist groups. Let's look at some of these. The pre-Adamite view. And this one, the pre-Adamite view, is the main one that drives them. Okay? What is that? Basically, it's saying that blacks are people that were created here first, and Adam was white, and that he was given sovereignty over the nations. And because of this factor, blacks cannot be left alone to rule themselves or be independent. They must be always ruled by a son of Adam. Okay? So, pre-Adamic view argues that blacks, particularly so-called Negroes, are not descended from Adam. This view appears to have its origin in the works of such authors as Paracelsus in 1520. Did you hear that? 1520. It's been along for a long time. Bruno in 1591. Vanini in 1619. And one of the most prolific writers, Pierre, in 1655. It reached a high level of development with the 19th century scholar Alexander Winchell in his book. Now you probably want to get this book and read up on it. Pre-Adamites, or a demonstration of the existence of men before Adam, published in 1880. That's around the time when we had our first slave rebellion in 1880 in South Carolina as a people, as Stonewall Rebellion. Okay, right when they around the time they invented slave codes and slave laws. All right, so that's around that time. But this belief had been going on well into the 1500s. So 1420 is when, basically around the time, it's been a long time. When did Muslims lose Andalusia? What year was that? Was that 1420? Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was like 1420. Okay, these writers, all of them white, argue that blacks belong to a race created before Adam, and from among whom the biblical villain Cain found his wife. Cain, by marrying one of these pre-Adam peoples, the reasoning goes, became the progenitor of all black people. Therefore, it was rationalized black people. Therefore, it was rational that black people, especially Negroes, are not actually human, because they did not descend from Adam, but are from some pre-Adamic creation, having entered the human race only by intermarriage. And some of them say it ain't even by intermarriage. Some of them say that we're still not human. We have no soul. Okay, so this is how you can get. Well, let me finish real quick. By race only by intermarriage, and that with a notorious sinner as non-humans, therefore we, or black people, they did not have souls, but were merely beasts, like any other beast of the field. And since the Bible says God gave humans dominion over the beasts, it was concluded that these soulless creatures exist to do work for the humans. So whether you in a southern slavery mode, or whether you're in a northern mode, the lowest class or lowest economic, pay wage, you're still looked upon to serve. Whatever you're given, even if you advance economically up the ladder, you still have to serve. You cannot become independent. So absolutely no. And anytime you try to become independent, it'll get burnt down, it'll get shot up, it'll get bombed. Just like they did in this country 3 times to us. We're the only people. As a people. First time, Black Wall Street. Our economic hub got bombed. Second time, the John Africa movement in Philadelphia, they bombed it from the sky. Okay? The whole neighborhood. Alright? And then the third time, we were attacked at Fort Negro. Alright? At Fort Negro. Navy ships just blew us away. For us trying to raise up and establish independence. We wanted to be independent. So every single step of this country, and every single time that we tried to get independent, we've been bombed down. Those who run the economy here have this view. Those in the police force have this view. Many of them. And those who don't go along with them because out of duty of being a fellow officer. Okay. So this is how you've always wondered, oh my God, I've heard it all the time. Oh my God, how did he, how can he just shoot that child? Oh my God, how can he just sit there and look at him and do this, all these type of things? It is because you are considered like a dog or a cat, a weasel. If you're trained animal, then you're okay. You're like a pet. You're funny, like the laughing, dancing, talking, entertainment type stuff they give us to do. And getting a little money for it, right? It's like a little entertainment animal. That's why they always use some type of animals in their comic strip with us. It could be a rhinoceros, a monkey, anything. Any type of animal they will associate with us in some type of comic strip and pass it right by you. And because you don't know this doctrine, you fall for it and think it's just fun and jokes. Not understanding the stereotype that's been going on way before the 1800s. A belief in Christianity use scripture. Okay? So that's the main view. We'll get back to that because we're going to focus on that because it's the predominant. Now, you have the Canaanite view. There's some white supremacists that believe in the Canaanite view. Argues that Cain was born white, but after his unacceptable sacrifice and murder of his brother, Abel, he was turned black as a punishment and became the progenitor of all black people according to some rabbinic midrashim in both the Babylonian and Jerusalem Talmud. Because Cain offered an unacceptable sacrifice, the smoke from this unacceptable sacrifice blew back on him, turned him black, and caused all of his children to be born black. In another Talmudic story, a rabbi says that God beat Cain with hell until he turned black. Stories vary. But it became a common Euro-American belief that God cursed and marked Cain by turning him black. So, this is the one that you hear most of the time. The curse of Cain or the curse of Ham. There's that view that's coming up, I believe. But that was the curse of Cain, and that was propagated. That's actually Jewish white supremacy. See, you have the Aryan, or what they want to call themselves, Aryan Nordic, or Aryan Jew, not Jew, but Israelite belief, if you want to call it that, that the Aryan one is we're beasts of the field. The Jewish one is we have the curse of Cain. The Jewish one are the ones that right now run the economy. Okay, so you have Aryan competing with Jew. They're both white supremacy over who rules us. That was really what broke off into the war of the Northern-Southern War. Which style and methodology will be used to run these niggers? Who will profit the most? The Jews got the upper hand here because they ran the banking system. Okay? Although they financed the slave ships. But Aryans were indeed involved in slavery. So, that was the Canaanite view. Then you have the Noahic, or the Noahide or Old Hamite view, can be traced to writers suggested to the Talmud and later adopted by Jewish and Christian interpreters, especially among white Southerners in pre-Civil War United States. So you had in pre-Civil War United States, you had the Noahide view and you had the beast view, which was predominant. And it says that Ham violated God's supposed prohibition against mating on the ark because he could not resist. He turned black. Yet another teaching was that Ham or Canaan was turned black as a result of Noah's curse. Genesis 9:24-27. In this view, God cursed Canaan. That curse was going all his descendants. And the curse was first that they would all be turned black. And second, that they would be servants to white people. Again, we see her blatant attempt to interpret the Bible in a way that justifies the institution of black slavery. So, make no mistakes about it. They may have had difference of viewpoint, but they all said blacks are to be servants on some type of capacity level. Then finally you have the new Hamite view. It's a 19th century view that holds the Hamites were all white. Yeah, they say that they were sunburned. Ham is no longer interpreted as black. So this is the new one coming up too. Black, all whites, rather than black, with the possible exception of Kush. Kush is Hebrew term, means black one. But scholars in 19th century Germany said that even Kush was, if Kush was black in color, he must regard it as a Caucasoid black. So this is where the theory came from, that certain Somalians are Caucasoid. blacks, and that's why you wouldn't believe there's some Somalians out there that actually call themselves Black Caucasians, and they feel that they are more closely related to whites than they are Black Negroes, and so they are racist. Okay. So those are the views. The Adamite view, there were beasts. The Canaanite view, Cain was cursed, and we're the descendants of seed. Noahite view, that Canaan was turned black. Specifically, Canaan was turned black instead of it being Cain himself. And then the new Hamite view, that Ham was actually a white person, and so therefore everybody must be white in the Bible, even the cursed nations. But we are the lowest. We're not even a human. It goes back to that. We don't even exist as a some type of human being. So now we have that cleared out the way. Now you can understand why the police officer can shoot you in the back of your head and shoot a kid in cold blood and just look and then go home and eat a sandwich. It's a religious idea driving them. Now some people say it's their nature because of the caves they've been in, how cold they got, the melanin stripped from them. It's possible. Melanin, when it's stripped from you, makes you more colder. The more melanin out of you, the more you are susceptible to have more of a less sensitive heart towards things, because the melanin is what makes you more in touch and in tune with nature itself. You're more nature orientated. But less melanin, you become more competitor and want to dominate and duplicate nature. Okay? Nature. So I want to read this real quick. Just skim through this. I want you to see this. Beasts of the field. Now, I want you to understand that these people are methodical, intelligent, and they know how to soup up a doctrine for you and keep it secret and teach congregations, and then they send them out into the police force. They send them out into the FBI. They send them out, and they're among you. Some of them smile and laugh. This is how, I'm pretty sure you've seen it back in the day in the slavery movies, how a master, I'm going to get into psychology real quick before I go to this. You're a beast of the field, your property, no soul. This is how you can see that a master would whoop his slave and then turn around, and it would be like 7 lashes, and then turn around and say, you should be happy that I whooped you like that, because I was being merciful. Now I could have sent you down to Charlie down the way, and Charlie would have beat you 100 strikes. See? Or I cut your foot off in your head, or your arms, but I could have did this. So I'm a merciful master now. Be happy now. How do you get to that mind frame? It's not just about owning some slaves, because slavery's been in existence. Indentured servitude has been in existence for a long time, even on blacks. Don't get that twisted. You fight my clan, I fight your clan. Whoever loses, you must serve my family or my tribe for 7 years to pay for the damages that you caused by your attack on me. So definitely indentured servitude has existed. No one complains about that. If you lose, you will have to pay back what you have stolen and damaged. Lives you've been took. Okay, that's been going on for a long time. But what happened with us, from the whites, was genocide. You took a whole culture, a whole language that was torture. You fed babies to alligators. You stomped on the very stomachs of pregnant women after you slit their stomach open, and you would stomp on the baby. What does that have anything to do with indentured servitude. Nothing. That's just being evil. That's just being, you just want to exert your fear and your power and your beast, your animal. You want to show it. Yes, you have some intellect. Okay, you have some intellect. So there's the little normal animals like the cattle, as they interpret, and then there's beasts of the field who walk on 2 legs and two hands. They have some intellect and they can organize. They have a capacity to, but they don't have a soul. So we have to keep these beasts always in line and let them know that we're the ones in power. We're the ones controlling it. Even when we let you do something, we're being nice now, boy. Being nice now, boy. Accept what we give you now. And that's how it's translated nowadays too. Okay? Police, instead of killing you, right? If he happens to just beat you down and mace you in the eyes, although all you were doing protesting, that's him being merciful. Now, boy. And if it's done to a white person, the stigma is a little different. All oppressions have different reasonings behind why the oppressors do it. So there could be a poor white person and there could be a poor black person. The reason why the white person is poor is different from reason why a black person are poor, because we came here under 2 different circumstances. And so therefore what was written inside the state was for different reasons. Understand? So our solution to the problem is different reasons too. Beast of the field doctrine. And I want you guys to look this up. When the word beast used in scripture, it often means living creature. For example, in the book of Revelations, the term beast is used to identify certain heavenly creatures who serve God day and night before his throne. Thus in Revelations chapter 4 verse 6. In Revelations 4:6 verses 8-11, we have the statement, and in the midst of the throne and about the throne were 4 beasts. In connection with this, read Revelations chapter 5, 6, 8. Also chapter 6-1 and verses 3, 5, 6, 7, where the word beast is used. I have quoted above scriptures principally show that there is nothing belittling, demeaning, derogatory in the biblical use of the term beast. It is as honorable as the term angel or man. See that? And this is took from white supremacy of those who believe this doctrine. You go there. There's many of them that do it. Israel elect. You also want to get that main book, Pre-Adamic Races. Okay? But let's go over some of their interpretation so you can understand how devious and how much of a threat we are under. As he said, it's an honorable term, so right there, automatic. It's honorable. There's nothing wrong with, thinking you're an animal. Just, that's how God created things. Just accept it, So, we're going to throw some words out. 3 different Hebrew words. Behema, meaning cattle or quadruped. Bir, meaning a brute beast. And finally, Sheya, meaning a living creature. Now keep in mind, all of these 3 are translated in most of your Bibles as beasts or animals. The Greek word translated beast is zoon, and this is word used in the passage above. Okay. Many Bible translations, including the very reliable Revised Version, translate the Greek word zoon as living creature rather than beast, so it is used in all the aforementioned passage. Same should apply to the Hebrew word sheya, or as Yiddish Jews would pronounce shivya. And all it does, according to Young's Analytical Concordance, most translations, however, seem to prefer the expressions beast of the field, beast of the earth, to be the translation of the Hebrew sheya. So let's see. I'm not trying to read this whole thing to you. I'm just trying to give you the breakdown so you can see how dangerous this is. Hold with me real quick. So we're called a Shaya. As you know, we're called Shaya. Bear with me for a second. Okay. So we're called Shaya. The translator is living creature. That's us, upright. Now understand this. They use science. They say, well, Scripture says there were living creatures. There was the cattle, okay? That's the four-legged. Then there was the creepy crawly. It's like the snakes and, insects. Then there was the Shaya, living creatures, and that's in Genesis. So they say this living creature is between the animals and man. Now, man to them means Adam. Adam had the ruh or ri, wind or soul, blew into him, right? So that means now you have another type of man who has no soul, who was before Adam. That's their interpretation. And so throughout the whole Bible, constantly this word comes up, the beast with the hands. He says, see, that's not no beasts, animals have hands, We only know one thing that has hands, and that's humans. In the 3rd chapter of Jonah, we find interesting, this is just another case where the Bible says the truth as it does, but does not make any explanation. We should remember that all the time understood the proper identity of beasts of the field. Jonah preached on the order of God that the city of Nineveh would be destroyed in 40 days. The king of Nineveh evidently believed the prophet and said about God's mercy for his people. Please accept the facts that they're recording God's word without trying to make it fit into modern tradition. You guys ready? Let's go. Alright. Who is beast of the field? The same racist beast mentioned in the Garden of Eden who talked with Eve and tempted her, Nakash, the tempter, Genesis 3:1, was the beast of the field. Some of them say that was not the beast of the field, but that Nakash was just a whisper, but the beasts of the fields were outside. So they dispute each other on that. But along with man, they say this, he was commanded to turn from his evil way and from violence that was in his hands. Jonah 3:8. They use that passage. You hear that? The beast of the field, the living creature, who was capable of fasting and prayer, but along with man, he was commanded. So along with Adam, the beast of the field was commanded to turn from his evil way and from violence that was in his hands. And you can find that in Jonah 3:8. Now he goes on to say, this white supremacist, animals do not have hands. Beasts of the field do. Lower animals are never guilty of violence that could be accounted as a sin before God. So here we see several different points. First, these beings called beasts can pray. Second, they can put on clothing. Third, they have hands and can walk erect. And fourth and finally, like men, they are commanded to put away the violence in their hands. These are things animals cannot do, nor are they ever asked to do in Scripture. Therefore, we must conclude that the beast of the field is an intelligent, morally responsible creature, similar to man, but similar to Adam, but not Adam. Okay. And so it says, at the time of the law was given to Israel at Sinai, this command was given to God by to Moses. It says, quote, take heed to yourselves that you go not up in the mountain, touch the border of it. Whomsoever touches the mount shall be put to death. There shall not any hand touch it. Please note, he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast, Shaya, or man, it shall not live. Exodus chapter 19, verses 12, 13. You hear that? Now he goes on to say, when he speaks of the hand of man and the hand of Shea, beast, then these must possess a knowledge and responsibility to refrain from reaching out to touch the mountain. While we do not have time or space to explore this further, it should be accepted as given at the hands of two or three more witnesses in the word, and it is established. Again, in the book of Daniel, chapter 4:25, we have further accounted the beasts of the field as they cared for King Nebuchadnezzar when he was driven from the dwelling with men during the period of his insanity. God's word to the king was, quote, they shall drive you, Nebuchadnezzar, from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they, beasts of the field, shall make you eat grass as an oxen, and they shall wet you with the dew of heaven. Then the white supremacist goes on to say, please note the words, they shall make you a domesticated animal. Oh, they shall make you. Now he goes on to say, a domesticated animal would have paid no attention to the king, let alone care about what he ate. But the beast of the field, or living creature, caused him to eat the grass and sleep in the dew. No known lower animal has ever been known to do things such as this. But remember, the beasts of the field are not lower animals. So we're a higher animal, but we're not Adam. That is their doctrine. And they say that in Genesis, it does say that Adam was given dominion over all things, including the beasts of the field. Can you understand now how one of these guys could sit there, and if you become excited, if you yell your voice, raise your voice, how they'll hit you in the head or shoot you dead quick, just like that? That's why it's this doctrine that you've been and I have slept on. So we have to go to jihad. There's no option. With the people that believe like this, that means they're forever going to seek you out by divine law, that you are to be their servants, ordained. And it's it's a belief. It's a philosophy. It's a belief. So they're not held accountable to thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, because that does not apply to beasts in this doctrine. And that's how they can come and they can smile and kill you in an instant second. That's how they can have all them slaves and kill all them thousands of people of ours that they did and do, and not bat an eye. You need to read this doctrine. I think another one of these videos I'm gonna refute that belief, because I got some stuff to refute all that. Also, you're not allowed to mate with the beasts of the field. Let's go on to some other scripture real quick. So he goes on the Judeo-Christian. He says Leviticus 20:15-16. Oh, how the Judeo-Christian crowd will cry about this command. Okay, this command right here. Leviticus 18:23. We find this definite command given to us by God. Neither shall he lie with any beast. Black people. I'm going to put in there black people. To defile themselves with. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast. Black people. To lie down thereto, because it is a confusion. And if a man lies with a black person, i.e. beast, Shea, he shall surely be put to death. And you shall slay the beast. Shall kill the beast. This is why in slavery, they sort of circumvented this rule, because they let greed come into play over this particular scripture. When they would rape their slaves or have sex with the slaves, they put in the idea, it's my property. Adam was given dominion over it. But they circumvented this one specific that said if you sleep with your beast, you die. But what they would turn around and do is kill the beast. If a master's wife came and slept with you, Okay? And you had no choice because you're the property. You were dead. Fast forward to nowadays. Same idea. You yell at them, they kill you. It's justified homicide. Many in the police department believe this. This is a doctrine of belief. It's been going since, the 1500s. Don't tell me we're not on a threat with a belief like that. Okay, just like we believe if we fight against oppression and we die, we get Jannah. They believe the opposite. If they don't oppress you, they're not doing their duty to God. And oppressing specifically the black people. Everybody else on the earth has to bow down too, but especially the Shia, because he was ordained and created to be the servant. That's why they got Hollywood entertainment. They put us always in these entertaining positions. And they always push that. Entertainment. He's violent. Now it's, let there be, sir. So they got us pushing the gay, agenda. And those organizations were started here in this country by Europeans, based on Greek and Roman, beliefs. So you have this group right here called Christian Identity. Okay, get up on them. We are commanded. There's so much more. They got verses of this stuff, Forgive me if I sound a little bit tired, because I am. I've been busy so much. I've been Moja Fest. I got several different things on my plate I'm trying to put together, and or I'm putting together. So excuse me, really, if I sound down or it's not as, up to beat, but let's see something else. Difference in blood. Okay. Oh, they also use science nowadays to say, well, yeah, blacks were here first. We evolved. So some of them will use that. Now, the Nordic, Aryan, Wiccan, they're white supremacists too, and they're the ones that are prone to. They don't believe in nothing biblical, so they just believe by race itself that they're superior, and that they are that by that it's called natural selection. They have a right to rule too, and all of them have united now. They used to dispute with each other, but them, the KKK, the neo-Nazis, the Christian Identity, the Wiccan, white supremacists, all of them have united under WAR, White Aryan Resistance. Okay, all of them have united under this, right? So this is Leviticus, when God created the beasts of the field, and here's what it says. According to Leviticus 18:3, it says that Genesis 1:27, beasts of the field, which we today know as black race, there is no other conclusion an intelligent person who believes in the word of God can make. These were the men created from nothing in Genesis chapter 1:27, male and female, and are completely different from Adam, man, formed from the dust of the earth. No animals crossbreed with men, i.e. the Negro or black, as politically correct would have us call them, is perfectly honorable being, created by God for a distinct glory purpose, but he is not Adam's race. He is closely related to man, but he is not descended from Adam. Evidence proves that he was on earth before Adam was formed. And now if you go into science, it would say that black people were here for millions of years, and the Caucasian came around the time of 6,000 to 10,000 years ago. So that scientific fact put out there, they ensue within the biblical verse, which makes it more believable. You see that? So understand, there's no way around it. We're going to have to do jihad against them. All these white supremacist organizations, we're going to have to fight them. There's no protesting. There's no voting. None of that. They have to be brought down, or we're going to be subject. So you choose what we're going to do. This is a doctrine. Again, you can type in beasts of the field, blacks are beasts of the field, and you'll get many different understandings. Not many understandings, but many different sites that talk about it. This one's Israel elect. Now, some of them say yes, their blood has been mingled because the children of Judah did, or different people did, or Aryans did mix with certain blacks, laid with them, and so therefore there's a confusion now. So they're called mutts. Okay. So I want to read something from the Quran. Of course, I could just easily refute them. Then they would probably say, I'm not talking about with the Quran, but I'm talking about with these images right here. You see that? See, this is on the walls of Egypt. I just purposely had to use this because it just shows you how long different peoples have actually been here. You see that Nubian right there? But according to them, according to their belief, it would be a Caucasian, I guess. How about this? See that? But those are black Caucasians, and those are all Caucasians right there, related. And those are the Ethiopian Somalis who are black Caucasians. Therefore, the black Negro, which is us, are beasts of the field. Okay? Understand this. Well, there's scientifically you prove we're all related. Africans were all related. So, I want to remind you of something. Okay? About us doing something about this. And this is part 2. We're going to get into other white supremacist groups. We're going to do that. So this is just another portion of it. I'm just expounding on the doctrine and the psychology of how this person thinks and why they do what they do. The many questions you've asked. How can a police officer shoot that girl? How can a police officer just treat him like that? How can a police officer be so cold like that? Are you human? And they just sit there and smile and high five each other. And then come and make up an excuse. Well, that's how. Beast of the field is what they believe. Oh, they also used, because, we're criminals, although they created the economic circumstance. Here's the contradiction. The white Jews who run the economy use us as servants. They use it for a lot of things. They put these stereotypes out there in the Hollywood, have our kids grow up off of it, and that becomes their vision, and then they try to be that, right? The crime poverty is, the banks are controlled by them, so the economy is controlled by them. But when we're in impoverished areas and places, quite naturally, people are going to compete for whatever little is there, and they're going to commit crimes. Well, the Aaron turns around and says, if you commit a crime, you're a criminal by nature. What gets me is that really groups like, for example, the KKK. Now, the first movie that was shown in this country, I'm going to show you a connection. That really the KKK, white supremacists, and the Jews and all that, they're all connected together. Now, this is the lie that they got going on out there. They hate each other. That's a lie. Now, the lower bottom followers, that's true. They believe it. But the higher ranks, they know. Give an example. One example. The first movie that the Jews ever made, white Jews ever made, was called Birth of a Nation. And it was by Hollywood, right? So this movie start the KKK. Now, why would the white Jews be making a movie about white Aryans? That are saviors of society. Yet they believe the Aryans are lower than them. Or the Aryans, why would people join the KKK and become Aryans when they believe the Jews are their enemy, the main enemy? Because it's false. They don't believe that. This is just a lie concocted. And one example I'll give you is Judah P. Benjamin. If you go look up Judah P. Benjamin, he was a Jewish Klansman. Yet the Klan, KKK, and all these white supremacist group, Christian identity, we hate the Jews. No, you don't. You're a liar. But only because Judah P. Benjamin, and some even say start the Klan. I don't hold that viewpoint. But he sure did send funds from Europe to the KKK in the United States for sure. And he was a member. They had some political fallout, whatever. But the point is, how can the KKK and the Jews work together if they're not one and the same doctrine? Don't fall for the hype. Don't fall for being a Republican. Don't fall for being a Democrat. Don't fall for being none of that. We want independence, like our forefathers at Stoner Rebellion fought for, like our forefathers at Fort Negro fought for. We have a right and a duty to be independent of oppression. And those of you who are Muslimin, mu'mineen, who are African American, or not African American, but black, or Kasambu. There's a queen in Africa who calls us by the name Kasambu. That's the name she gave us, actually, and wrote it in the decree. They're called Kasambu. No longer they call African American. They have a name. Kas means, in the Cushitic languages, means to uprise. Kas means royal, and Ambu or Amsu means to uprise. The spiritual resurrection, or to uprise. Okay, so that's what they named our people. Anybody that was taken to slavery. So you could literally, she's trying to make it so that you go to the UN or you go anywhere, you say I'm Kasambu is recognized. But real quick, I say real quick, but I want to read to you some Quran, because we have the duty to enjoin the right and forbid the wrong. Enjoining the right is get us independent. Forbidding the wrong, fight against these white supremacists. We have to stop them. The Prophet ﷺ said in the famous hadith, whether you're Sunni, whether you're Shia, and I'm gonna quote both because I'm talking to both. To fight against oppression, and that if you don't fight against oppression, you'll be held accountable before Allah. As a matter of fact, your oppressors will become over you. Okay? So first, it's very clear. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. Turn this page, I had it marked. Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Kuntum khaira ummatin ukhirjat il-nasi tamuruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhawana. And what that means, translate, you are the best people raised up. Talking African American Muslim, African and black Muslim, Kasambu Muslim. Okay? You are the best people raised up for mankind. And I'm not saying, I'm using it in preference to the subject that we're talking about. Okay, because I'm talking to you. You're a Muslim, so you're raised up, you see, as the best among mankind. Okay, and it says you are raised up for mankind, enjoining the right and forbidding the wrong. And that's in Surah 3, ayat 110. Right? So we have to, another ayat in Surah 3, ayat 103, hold to the rope of Allah altogether and be ye not divided. And remember his favor. Okay? What is his favor on us? That he's united us. Right? But through our unity, we should be enjoining the right and forbidding the wrong. Okay? Allah says it very clearly. Wal takun minkum ummatun yad'una il khairi wa yamuruna. Okay? And what that translated is, and let there be among you inviting to the good and adjoining the right. Wa yanhauna, and forbidding anni, from, il munkari, wrong, wa ulayka huma il muflihuna, they are the successful ones. You are the best people who are raised up for mankind. You enjoin the right and forbid the wrong. They are the ones who attain felicity. They are the successful ones. You see this oppression on our people, you fight. They need us. Our women need us. Our children need us. Our people need us. Our Qawmi, wa Qabiltu. Our people and our tribes. They need us. Now let's get into some hadiths on enjoying the right, forbid the wrong. Okay. Okay. First, Sahih Muslim. Prophet ﷺ one day said, and Anas bin Malik narrated, whomsoever from amongst you sees an evil should change it by his hand. And if he's unable to do so, then he should change it by his tongue, by speaking against it. And if he is unable to do so, then he should reject it in his heart, and this is the lesser of man. Now usually, this is not referred to a ruler. A lot of people think it's referring to a ruler, but it's actually talking about your fellow man who's not a ruler, because he's the one you can grab his hand and stop him. Alright? And then if you're not strong enough to do that, with your mouth, you speak out against him. Speak what he's doing wrong. And then if you can't do that, then hate in the heart. The Prophet ﷺ said in another hadith, he said to speak truth to unjust ruler, adalim, that's to the effect that's haq, or that, if you get killed for that, you become a martyr. Right? One day, the Prophet ﷺ, Ibn Kathir in this tafsir said, recommend one another to patience, meaning patience with plots, the evils and harms of those who harm people, due to their commanding them to do good and forbidding them from evil. So if we stand up, according to Ibn Kathir, we stand up, we enjoin the right and we forbid the wrong on our people, or about our people, should I say, towards our oppressors, then we are considered patient ones. Let's read that. Recommend one another to patience, meaning patience with plots, the evils and the harms of those who harm people, due to their commanding them to do good and forbidding them from evil. Now, the same thing. Oh, another hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said that if one time the angel came to the people a lot, and that before they were going to destroy the people a lot, the angel told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that there was a pious man there who was taqwa. And he said, start with that man. Turn the city upon him first. Because he did not enjoin the right and he did not forbid the wrong. Remember that. We've tried with the circumstances we're facing. See, speaking out is only effective when it changes something. But what we got here is a group of organizations of people who want to see us in servitude. There is no speaking out against that. Who you gonna talk to them, speak to them? One of the ones that will have the power, have power. What are you gonna do? Appeal to their sense of morality? You're gonna say, hey, I'm a human being like you, and they're gonna their mouth is gonna say, yeah. But in their head, they're gonna say, you're nothing but a beast of the field. Do as I like. But I'll play politics with you. That's, what you want to do. But it always come out eventually in our favor. Some other hadith. And this is for the Shia. Those of you that call yourself Shia. The Holy Prophet in Bihar Anwar. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, the time when my ummah, Muslim followers merely count on others to enjoin the right and forbid the wrong. In fact, they have declared a fight against Allah. So if you do not join the right, if you do not forbid the wrong, at least some of us stand up and fight, you declared a war against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said again, to prevent a Muslim from doing an unlawful action is equivalent with Allah to perform the 70 of Hajj. So even preventing a Muslim from doing wrong, you get the Hajj benefits. Then what about those who go throughout the earth full of oppression, who have no sense of morality in the sense of how they treat certain people? Because there's no morality. When them police threw that bomb on Aina Jones, a 7-year-old, that was no morality. And the officer eventually got off. See? You can't appeal to these people. You can't say, hey, you need to stop. It's wrong. It's wrong. Oh my God. How come you did that? How come you did it? They did it because you are a beast of the field. Nothing but a low down, stinky, dirty nigger. Imam Bakar said, the Prophet ﷺ said, verily, enjoining what is right and forbidding what is wrong is the way of the prophets and the method of good doers. It is such a great obligatory deed, wajib, by which other obligatory deeds can survive. Other creeds can be saved. Bargains are lawful. Injustice is warded off. And prosperity can fill the earth. Al-Kafi, volume 5, page 56. And the Muslim was in, you can look it up, Site Committee has that also too. And these are all similar hadiths from both sects. We have to enjoy the right. We have to forbid the wrong. Again, I'll just go running through some hadiths, Sunni and Shia. Okay, that'll be better. Okay, Sunni and Shia, put them together. All right. Prophet ﷺ said, firmness of the religion is due to enjoining what is good and forbidding what is wrong and observing the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just go through it. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, the one who sees a wrong action done should prohibit it by his deed. If he is capable, of course, if he cannot do that, he should prohibit it by his tongue. But if he is not able to do even that, he may forbid in his heart. That's forbidden the heart. It's still going to kill us. We need to get our strength up. Right? Get our strength up then. So we can remove this oppression. And we want black independence. We don't want no more compromises. We don't want to be under them. Complete black independence. That's it. That's what we want to go for. We got people that are doctors. We got people that are engineers. We got people that are, international. We got enough to form a nation. An independent nation of our own. And yes, we're going to have to fight. If they believe you're a beast of the field, what do you think they're just going to let you do it? You're the property. Servants. Amir Mu'mineen Ali said, ask others to do good and forbid evil. And do know that enjoining the right and forbidding the wrong never draws death near, nor ceases sustenance. Basically saying, you do good and you forbid the evil. What these oppressors are trying to do, that's not the reason why you died. You just, probably it's me not, I'm going to say, the decree of death was decreed for you. And you had to come either way. Of course, if you do us, that's a whole different subject. Some people believe you can do it, and it changes in this hadith that says that there is a final decree that Allah gives. Like, say for example, you got 75 years to live. He's put up to that limit of age that you can live. That's his decree. But you can die earlier than that from wrong things you did, and he sets the limit at 55. So he says this man can live up to 75 if he does this. That's the decree. And he would die at 55 if he does this. That's also a decree. Okay. Last but not least, Prophet ﷺ said, do not give up bidding for good and forbidding from evil, lest the mischievous, oppressive gain positions over you. And then in that case, when you pray, your supplications, your dua, will not be granted to you. You've been told to struggle, strive, and fight against this oppression. If you don't cry to Allah, because He gave you an instruction. Strive against the oppression that is being put on your people. You don't got to go to Syria. You don't have to go to, because that's not where oppression's only at. Right here is where it's at, right next to you. So inshallah, I'm going to end this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Apologize, I was not as animated, but inshallah, this is part 2. There'll be a part 3 and a part 4, part 5. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Glory and praise belongs to Allah, the eternal absolute, who is the uprooter of the oppressed and the is the uprooter of the oppressor and is the aider of the oppressed, is the one who sees and knows all things, who is the one who guides us in our life and our death, and the one who grants us paradise when we fight against the oppressors. Peace be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And may the blessings be upon his Ahlul Bayt as well as his companions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This concludes Black Liberation Part 2 according to the Quran and Sunnah. The purpose of this was about the doctrine of white supremacy. There will be possibly a portion B to this. We have to expound more on the doctrine so we understand the mentality. Part of war, the one part of it is to know your enemy. The other part of winning is to know yourself. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know your enemy's strength, know their weaknesses. We may not have enough right now for a straight out army, but we have enough to form guerrilla assassin squads and fight against white supremacist organizations. It's been clear what their aim is, and they're not stopping. They're not going away. Black people, African people, my people, please, especially if you're Muslim, rise up, organize. Organize the fight for black independence. Do not compromise. Do not do this Frederick Douglass compromise. I will be getting on that soon, where this compromise mentality came from. Assalamu alaikum. Black independence, black power. Power to determine our own independence. Just like the Prophet ﷺ made Medina independent when he united the Muslim Arabs, Jewish Arabs, Christian Arabs, and even the pagan Arabs who were on the side. Assalamu alaikum.